Hey race fans, welcome to tonight's race at Pocono Raceway. I'm Jamie Christensen in the booth with Dustin Phillips. How's it going tonight?
Going good, Jamie. It's good to be back for week 2 here.
Yeah, absolutely. Pocono being that tricky triangle. It's a 2.5 mile track with 3 turns. A little bit different here for these guys. I know we've seen in the past drivers having a little trouble there exiting turn 3. You suspect we'll see that again tonight?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a key here. Every corner is different, as you alluded to just earlier. But I tell you what, turn 3's been really tricky. I don't know if it's the temperature. It was pretty tricky last time we were here, but definitely a guy that takes care of his car and gets through turn 3 well, and even through the tunnel turn in 2 is kind of tricky. So just definitely look forward to guys seeing how they race around each other. You know, you can put down a fast lap, but consistency is going to win here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, these guys are getting out there qualifying, looking for a fast lap. You know, I still think, you know, with as big of a track this is, the drafter is going to come into play on some of these, on the front stretch and maybe even on the back stretch. What do you think?
Yeah, the draft will definitely play a lot more here, especially than last week at Charlotte. You got these long stretch. We got a long front stretch for sure, and it's definitely gonna play into how guys get into the corner. We're gonna probably see some guys get into it a little hard, and it might cause them some trouble. So definitely who takes care of their stuff tonight is gonna be the one to come out on top.
Well, we're taking a look at James Skelton right now. You know, currently running 5th here in qualifying. He's been a pretty consistent driver over the last race and at the very end of last season, so I expect to see a good showing out of him.
Yeah, Jamie, you're right. He's right now 5th on the board. I think qualifying is important here, but it's all about who can take care of the car and be there at the end. We got 80 long laps here, and just to throw a little shout out at James. He won our Touring Series race Sunday with a good job of just managing his stuff. So congratulations to him, and maybe he can pick up his 2nd win this season right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like James brought it in, and let's go ahead and check out Chris Sharp in that 924 car. Running the looks like a retro Miller paint scheme there this evening.
Yeah, he's definitely it's a battle of the beers here tonight, it seems like. He's got the old school Miller High Life, and right now he's got her parked in 6th with a pretty good time. I think you'll see some guys put up some good stuff, some good times tonight, but not as quick as what we saw in practice. So it's with the rule that we have this year of guys only using one set of tires here in qualifying, kind of puts a little wrinkle in it. So you're going to see guys that are quick, and maybe guys that will be a little quicker as the race goes on.
Yeah, let's take a look at Mike Abbott. In this qualifying lap, he's currently sitting 7th, but he's got some work to do to get that pole. But he's running a new paint scheme, I believe, for the month of October, recognizing breast cancer awareness. So sharp-looking car there by Mike.
Definitely is. I like on the side of it, he's got NAVSCAR on it. Good to see the support from Mike. He's been here a while, and it's good to see him back to competing with us on a regular basis. He had an injury he was coming off of, and definitely a good job by him on just getting that car back together and him healed. Good to see him back.
Well, let's take a peek in on Butch Frazier here. He was the sleeper last week. Kept the car clean and was there at the end of the race when it counted. So Butch kind of having an interesting run here. Kind of a little bit further back in the field. Currently sitting in 16th position. So
yeah, Butch, them boys had a little trouble getting through pre-race tech. Got in here about 3 or 4 minutes before practice was over. Didn't get much time on the track. So Butch is a smart guy here. He's been here before, so qualifying's probably not going to show his fast times, but he'll probably be up there when it counts.
comes to the line. Let's see if he can actually... Yeah, he crossed it, and he's going into turn 1 here. Interesting to watch these guys get into 1 and 2 there. Everybody's taking a little bit different line. Some of those guys are driving it in a little bit deeper than I think the other drivers around them, which can pose an interesting situation, especially when on a restart or when they're running too wide.
Yeah, there definitely has been a lot of different lines here. You know, got a chance to run a little bit in practice last night. You know, a lot of guys, you had a lot higher entries than I remember us being here earlier in the year. So this car definitely feels a lot quicker than it was last year. I don't know if some of the guys feel the same, but definitely some different lines here. And that's going to be interesting as the race goes on. It's very hard to pass here. So, yeah, you've definitely got to take your time and get around the guy clean. So, be interesting to see the different lines that guys choose and how that affects their race.
So now taking a look at Raymond Edge, he's putting up a pretty decent time there. Currently 8th in qualifying. He backs the car down. We see the RPMs come down, but he must be pretty happy with that lap.
Yeah, definitely. You know, as we got about 40 seconds left here in qualifying, I think what we're seeing now with times is probably what you're going to get. Except we only get one set of tires here, so you got guys pretty much got down what they're going to put down. But you know, qualifying is one thing, and I see a couple of guys in here that were a little slower in their practice time. So I expect as the race goes on, it's going to be who can manage their stuff and who has good pit stops. I mean, we were talking earlier during practice that guys could probably get about 14, 15. Some can stretch it maybe a little further on the tank of fuel. So we're going to have a couple of pit stops definitely here tonight. And that may change the outlook of the race altogether.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, just taking a look at Nelson Riviera, we've talked about him a couple times now. He's running that Verizon breast cancer awareness car out there. He's about 12th. He's middle of the pack, you know. And we see the checkered flag there, so qualifying's done. But expect a good run out of Nelson this evening.
Yeah, Nelson did really good here. Won on a fuel mileage race here in preseason. He's quick here, so you know his time's probably not showing all he's got tonight. But looks like right now as we speak, he's going to be starting 8th. So we'll have to see how people stay out of trouble and just keep their cars underneath them all night.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's I think what we've seen out of Nelson, I'm starting to wonder if he isn't holding back a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. He's I wouldn't say he's holding back, but I think as the race goes on, and I know I'm like this, Jamie, the races we've had here before, I get faster as we go. So car usually gets a little better up underneath me as the race goes. So we'll probably see some of these guys get a little quicker here.
Well, we'll just wait for him to grid up here a second, and we'll go through the running order.
As we're waiting to grid here tonight, Jamie, just curious on, I'm gonna give you the chance of having the first pick tonight on who your driver is here for the Battle of the Booth.
I'm actually gonna go with Nelson. I'm gonna go with Nelson this evening.
That's a really good choice, man. He has definitely showed a lot of speed this year, and he knows how to, definitely if the race comes down to a long green flag runs, he's definitely put it on him last time we were here. So that's an excellent pick.
I got the starting grid up. Dustin, you want to go ahead and go through them?
Yeah, we'll go through them. You got row 1. Going to be the 81 of Nate LaFleur. To his outside, it's going to be Mike King in the 944. Starting row 2, John Fershing Jr., last week's winner and defending NAVSCAR Pro Series champion. Looking forward to him having a pretty decent night. Look to his outside, we got Josh Buckley in the 2. Definitely looking to bounce back from next week. 924, row 3, Chris Sharp. To his outside, James Skeleton in the 86. Row 4 we got Mike Abbott in the 82 and Nelson Riviera in the 922. We go to row 5. We got Raymond Edge in the 72, Trent Potter in the 987, and after that we got 905 of Craig Sykes, 900 of Brian Wynn. I want to throw out a little shout out to Brian. He donated some money at NAVSCAR this week, and really appreciate his donation. And as we move on, row 7 we got the 39 of Jeff File, and to his outside Bruce Potter in the 959. Row 8 we got Tricky Ricky Goodman here being at Tricky Triangle. I hope Ricky has a good run tonight. And to his outside it's going to be Scott Kidd in the 977. As we look on down, we got Butch Frazier in the 555. He'll look to be pretty decent here tonight. Got the 9 of Kevin Cochran to his outside. Rounding out the field, we got the 8 of Brent Rogers, and we got a couple drivers that didn't take time. Jonas Hankins, 94 of Kevin O'Brien, and the 14 of Timothy Lewis. So we'll have to see if those guys grid it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So sorry about that. You know, I think there was having a little technical difficulty, but we're getting ready to go live, and we'll see. We'll see Jonas bring him to the green here. So.
Yeah, Nate LaFleur, and tell you, a good qualifying effort by Mike King. He struggled a little bit last week in Charlotte, but definitely looked like he's got the speed under him tonight, and that's by, Chevrolet. So looking forward to seeing how he runs tonight. I'm going to go ahead and make my pick as we get going here. I think I'm going to go with the 2 of Josh Buckley. Definitely looks to be hungry tonight, and that 2 Miller Lite Ford Fusion. So I'm hoping that he bounces back and has a good run here tonight.
Green, green, green.
As we go green.
Yeah, absolutely. Nate LaFleur brings him down. He's got that inside line. Hopefully he'll be able to make that work. Hopefully that car doesn't push out. We shouldn't see that here on the first lap, but you never know.
Yes, we see Mike King to the outside. That outside groove is really. Oh, we got a big caution.
Well, that didn't take long, did it, Dustin?
Sure took a lot less time than I thought it would, but guys are hungry here early, so we'll have to see exactly what caused that there, Jamie.
Let's go and take a look at Mike Abbott. I know he was involved in some of this. I actually think Mike got loose there.
Yeah, I think you're right. Got a little bit of loose, and yep, you're right. Got in a Nelson, Raymond, a couple other guys just got collected there. That's just a little unfortunate here.
Yeah, these guys probably still knocking the rust off a little bit, but yeah, it's awfully early to be having that much damage on the car.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. I tell you what, I've noticed anytime you're under another car, even on the bottom, man, any one of these corners, the car just feels so free, too free. And I tell you what, it looks like that might have happened that time to Mike. Car just jumped out from underneath him, and he goes to correct it, and car, you kind of along for the ride at that point. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what I'll do real quick is we'll go ahead, we'll go back to it, and we'll ride in car with Mike. Oh yeah, it just gets loose on him there. You can see the wheel, him adjusting the wheel a little bit, and as he felt the back end come around on it, and just thought he had a little bit more car there than what he thought he had.
Yeah, that's just a tough break there. Nelson and Mike and even Raymond. Raymond got collected. I hope there's not a lot of damage on his car, but. I tell you what, as we look back up front. Mike King had a really good start there, and definitely took charge out there to the outside, as I was speaking on earlier. The outside is definitely the place you want to be, it seems like, all week in practice. So you got to run down through the top 5. We got 944 Mike King, Josh Buckley, Nate LaFleur, John First, and Chris Sharp. And, sitting back in 6th and 7th, you got James Skeleton and Trent Potter, and all those guys have been fast all week. So they can stay out of trouble tonight, man. You can take about any one of those guys and put them in victory lane. Definitely good job by everybody and all the effort they put in this week.
Yeah, I definitely hear you. I'm taking a look at Josh Buckley, and Josh had a really good run there. I believe didn't you say he started on the outside?
Yeah, he started 4th tonight.
Yeah, so we've seen that outside line really be able to make it work. I was a little bit worried with LaFleur down on that inside line. You've seen coming out of 2, those guys on the outside were flying, and the inside line wasn't moving. It looked like it was tight. We obviously seen Mike down in that lane. He got Mike Abbott. He got a little bit loose down there. I'm not, with this new dynamic track, I think you got to take into consideration track temperature right now.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys are hungry, and I don't really think that's kind of under characteristic of Abbott. He's on the bottom fighting hard, and the car just broke loose on him. And like I said, it's on the bottom here, man. It has been tough all week. So I definitely think we'll see the top even rubber in a little more, and as this race goes on, and it's going to be very hard to pass. You're going to see guys that are really going to take chances to pass here, and or make a mistake, have a mistake made by the guy in front of them. So we'll keep an eye on that as it goes, and it's going to be a good race. I'm looking forward to it.
So we're taking a look at Brian Wynn. He was involved in that incident as well. It looks like he's got repairs done to that car. I'm pretty sure he had to use a quick repair on that. He's driving that 900 Budweiser, or I believe it's a Bud Light car. It looks pretty sharp out there this evening.
It is, man. It's a very sharp car. The team did a good job getting that car together and getting it out here tonight, man. Brian is a newer guy this year, man, but I tell you what, he's fit right into the crowd, and it's just good to have a good guy like him. And car's sharp tonight. I really like it. I like the orange and how it fades back to the silver. So, man, he's got a sharp-looking car here tonight. Maybe he can bounce back from this and see him racing here for the win here later on.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we're seeing a lot of drivers out here with some new paint schemes. I think, new month. That 9 of Kevin Cochran's looks pretty good as well.
Yeah, it definitely does. You see, since this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, a lot of guys out here supporting the cause, and that's good to see, man. You like to see a good cause like that. So many guys out here. You got Bruce Potter even running the pink numbers tonight. So I mean, just thanks to all those guys, and just a good cause to be a part of. So we're getting ready here to go green here shortly. You got any words on what you think this restart's going to be like? Maybe guys will settle down a little bit.
I hope so, because some of them have already burned that quick repair. If I was involved in that earlier incident, I don't think I'm going to be too eager to press the issue. But however, we're at Pocono, and it's one of those deals. We've seen green flag runs last a long time, and if you get too far back in the pack, you're done for the evening. I mean, it's real hard to get back up there.
Green flag. Green's out here, and we saw 944 Mike King use that outside as his leader, so we'll have to see how Buckley can manage this restart on the bottom.
Yeah, and I'm seeing him 3 wide here going into 1. That ain't going to work.
Not sure. Yeah, just look at Mike King just power around the top side, man. But Buckley's going to hang with him here.
Yeah, everybody made it through a little bit cleaner, so entering, going into 2 here. Carrying a lot of speed.
Yeah, 2's a very important part of this track, man. If you do not, entry is not well, your exit is going to be terrible, and you're going to wreck your race car. So guys got to think about that all night, especially when they're battling with the guy in front of them, and they think, I can jump down in there and pick up a little run underneath him. It's going to be important, guys, to think about that. Every corner here has got to be hit good for you to stay up front all night.
Yeah, as Buckley looks to the inside there of Mike King.
Yeah, we've seen Buckley fast here in practice all night, and I tell you, that guy is one hungry guy tonight to do a good job out here. Had a little misfortune that wasn't his doing last week, and you know, had to retire early, and we're just going to keep an eye on him, and he's going to manage his stuff well and probably be around here at the end tonight. That's what I'm looking at.
We go in the car here with Mike King as he's following Josh Buckley around the track. Josh takes a little bit higher on the getting into the corner. Mike is able to close really quickly up to Josh's bumper. 183 and climbing. I don't know if he's got enough to make that turn. Let's see if he dive bombs him under going into one.
You know, we talked about that earlier, and you see these guys a little bit, their higher entries and running a little bit of the higher line here tonight. You know, these guys, you know, it's really, really early here. You know, we're only on lap 7, so you're probably going to see a lot of these guys start to not so much stretch it out, but let guys, you know, have room and just race this thing for a little while, and let's get some pit stops under our belt and some laps down, and they'll settle in here, and we'll see really good racing towards the end, I guarantee you.
Yeah, and you know, we talked about it a little bit earlier, and we got a chance to see it while we rode in the car there with Mike King. You know, these guys are entering the corner a little bit different. Some are driving it in, some are actually lifting off and trying to get a good run and going out. So everybody's running different techniques, so we'll see which one kind of pays out in the long run. But look who's in third.
Yeah, I was just going to speak on that. Old John Fershing, he's up there last week's winner. He's definitely going to look for him to be Mr. Consistent this year, I think. And I definitely, we didn't mention earlier, but that was Mike Fair's pick tonight for Battle of the Booth. So definitely a good choice. He went with him last week, and he's going to pick him up again this week, and probably got a pretty good chance of scoring some good points. So, you know, unfortunately, Mike's not here. We'll have him back in a couple weeks. But definitely another good pick tonight, and we'll see John stay around the front pretty much all night, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's take a look at that Battle of the Booth after last week's picks there. We got it up. Let's see here. Mike came in with 49 points. Looks like he's leading with his pick with John Fershing Jr. You're in second there with 42 points, and I went with the 8 of Brent Rogers, and that didn't pan out for me. So obviously, real close between you and Mike right now.
Yeah, both picks. Actually, all 3 picks last week were a good choice. You know, Brent's usually pretty good. He got caught up in some stuff last week, but you know, you think about where guys are strong at. Some guys are strong almost everywhere, but had some misfortune last week for Brent. But we'll hopefully see him be a little better tonight. And as far as my pick, you know, I thought he was going to dominate the race, and I was wrong. He had some trouble about midway through, but came back and made an awesome pass to even get me to second. So just a little shout out to him this week while we got talking about him. He's on his honeymoon right now. He got married this past weekend, and just congratulations to him and his new bride, and hopefully they have a long life together, and just good to see him back when he gets back in a week or so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think everybody's eager to see him back in the car, but you can't blame him for being away this week. So, with that being said, just picking up where we left off, we got Brent Rogers there. We talked about him a second ago. He's got himself in quite a bit of traffic back there. Currently running 10th. It's a little bit off the leader in regards of lap times, but he's holding his own back there. Maybe just biding his time.
Yeah, and like I said, it's going to be who we see a lot of these. Well, as we look, we see that, you know, really the top 7 breaking away a little bit. You got Jeff Fowle and Raymond Edge back there, and Craig Sykes a little bit further back out of that top 7. But you're going to see a lot of these guys that got good speed tonight, and they'll be very consistent. And then you'll have a couple of guys that are on the bottom half But don't count these guys off in the bottom half. They keep your car clean and come around to it. This race over the last several times has been a fuel mileage race, so it's going to be based off who can make those right choices down pit road and come out with the win tonight.
Yeah, we're taking a look at the 905 of Chris Sykes right now. I mean, you know, he's got a little bit of distance between him and Chris Sharp in the 924, but you know, Craig is really holding his own here, and he's looking pretty decent.
Yeah, he's had some good speed all week, definitely in practice and stuff. So, like I said, it's basically, this track is definitely getting into a rhythm here. You can fall off so bad by just missing your marks a couple times, and you know, sometimes it's easier to back up the corners and just make sure you're smooth through them and don't overdrive them, and you know, makes for a lot easier night. And late race caution, you never know what's going to happen. So we'll keep an eye on that, and keep an eye on Craig, and see if he'll stay up there in the top half of the field.
Yeah, and now that you mention it, Dustin, taking a look at Craig's car there, and the front right bumper looks like he's got a little front end damage, kind of something you see when the driver gets into that outside wall coming out of a corner. I don't know if that was carryover from the incident, but he's definitely got damage, but not enough to hold him up too much, doesn't look like.
Yeah, and that could have been getting into another car. You know, just a little tap. It don't take much here, man, to wrinkle these front ends up. But you know, that looks like it's not hindering him too bad. So you know, his last lap was in the 52s, which these tires, we were talking to the guys earlier, were falling off pretty quick. So we're going to see time slow down as we go, and we'll just have to keep an eye on how who balances and keeps their car underneath them is you know, the best tonight is going to be the guy that comes out with the win.
So back up front, we're taking a look at Josh Buckley. He's got about a half-second lead there over Mike King. And in third place, we got Nate LaFleur, and fourth, we got John Fershing Jr. And I know John Fershing Jr. just let Nate LaFleur go there going into one, but close battle up front.
Definitely is, and I you know, Mike King has done a great job tonight. Last week had a little bit of trouble at Charlotte. The guys definitely missed a setup, and this week he has been fast in practice, fast in qualifying, qualified second, and he's up there doing a good job, just running his own race. Good to see him up there, and he's one of our new guys, so we definitely like to see them do well, and keep an eye on him all night, because he looks like he's going to be pretty fast.
Yeah, absolutely. And, what were you saying the pit stops were running this evening?
Guys were saying about a fuel mileage was about 14. Some of them could maybe stretch it 15 to 16. But these guys that are racing hard up front are definitely going to be, you know, using more fuel. So, you know, I'm thinking about 14 laps is what they said as we turn lap 15. So I'm not sure, but maybe that information was given to me incorrect.
Yeah, well, it's hard to say, but you know, we are coming to lap 16 here. I don't think the leaders have pitted yet, so they've got to be close at a 2.5 mile track. You know, if this is in, I guess if we look at like Daytona, which is equivalent or close to equivalent size track, I think we see it somewhere in the anywhere 19 to 23 range. Does that sound about right?
It actually does, and even here you're off the throttle just that little bit less than you are at a Daytona or Talladega. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. It could be stretched a little longer, but definitely the 14 laps. I thought that was a little short myself, but a little bit of information we got from one of the drivers last night in practice, and definitely looks like they can go a little bit longer.
So real quick, Dustin, I'm going to drop in here and look at the 922 of Nelson Riviera there. You know, I want to highlight that he's one lap down. Any comment to that in regards to my pick this evening?
Only that usually, Jamie, unfortunately, some of the guys you pick tend to find bad luck. And that's the same thing here with Nelson. But, you know, he's recovered. He's used up his quick repair, the one he gets tonight. So he's definitely, you know, the first car lap down. Sure, we're going to see a caution here at some point tonight. And we're definitely going to, you know, just keep an eye on him as he tries to march his way back through the field. But he'll be fast.
Yeah, and he's
Jamie, actually...
Go ahead.
So I was just saying, as the leader's coming down pit road here on lap 17, we're turning 18. Top 7 looks like they came down, if not top 8. So hopefully see if guys are taking 2 or 4 tonight will be the call. The way the tire wear was earlier in some of the tire tests they had this week, man, definitely thinking guys are going to be taking 4.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't see anybody taking 2 unless they're looking for position and hoping for a caution quicker than later. And like you said, Dustin, we are seeing a lot of these guys go with 4, and Josh Buckley first in. Looks like he's going to be first out.
Yeah, good pit stop by number 2 Miller Lite, and you know, Nate did a pretty good job. And you know, Pocono's a lot different than a lot of places we run. Usually these guys, you know, they'll enter back on the track on the back stretch, and here, you know, you've got to enter it into turn 1, so that can cause some trouble if you got, you know, guys that are off cycle with you, and got to keep an eye on that as we go. We don't want to see any unexpected collisions, you know, as the race goes. So
yeah, so why don't we go back and take a look at Bruce Potter? He looks like he's about the first car a lap down. Let's take a look at Bruce in the 959.
yeah, and I'll expect some of these guys that hadn't pitted yet. You see Raymond Edge and Brent and all those guys will be coming in shortly. Oh, as we have a caution. Have to see what the culprit was there, but definitely got a caution. Wonder if some of these guys that stayed out that extra little bit's gonna, you know, help them get an advantage over the field here. We'll have to take a...
Yeah, I'm not seeing it just yet.
I didn't see it either, but we definitely got NAVSCAR's officials through that yellow flag.
Oh, I think I may have found it. Mike Abbott gets loose again and hits the wall hard on the passenger side of that 82. Boy, this has not been Mike's night tonight.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough break for him. I saw him slow on the bottom on the front stretch, but I didn't think anything. But that's a tough break for him. Mike got caught up in that earlier wreck, and car's pretty crunched up on the right side, so we'll have to see if that crew can get down there and get him buttoned up a little bit and get him back out.
Yeah, just did the in-car there with Mike. You know, the back end just came around again, and I'm honestly really surprised at that.
You know, Jamie, as I talked earlier, if you go back in the replay I was just looking at there, you saw Mike turn to the bottom in turn 3. These cars do not like the bottom in turn 3. And we saw him make that little bit of move to the bottom there, and you know, the car just wants to jump sideways on you. So happened to me quite a few times in practice last night. So definitely keep an eye on those guys. You'll see a lot of guys run that high line in 3. Saw Mike turn to the bottom there, and you know, the car just jumps loose on you, and you're along for the ride at that point.
Yeah, I hear you. Now we got a bunch of cars coming into pit road. I believe Raymond Edge is bringing them in. So.
Yeah, I tell you what, you got, well, it looks like Nelson might, he's going to get the lucky dog here for sure. Thought he might get the wave around, be able to come in and top off on fuel, but let's see how he plays. He definitely should get his lap back here. You know, I'm not sure, but I was looking, there's a little bit of right side damage to Riviera's car, so.
So, well, as we're watching them come out, you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to rewind the clock here a little bit. I'm going to go back to the first caution and just give a quick highlight. And to be honest with you, and it's not to pick on Mike Abbott, but you know, it really has been him wrapped up in a lot of these incidents. So let's go back to the first one, shall we? Here we go on the first lap here. Watching Mike there. It's got the 922 with Nelson behind him, and it collects Nelson into the wall. That brings out the big one, is we got a lot of cars involved. I've seen Raymond Edge involved, Craig Sykes. I believe maybe even, I'm not even sure, but looked like Nate might have got some of that action as well. And then here with the second caution.
Yeah, Brian Wynn was caught up in that. I didn't realize that on the first time, but he was caught up in that first accident.
Yeah, and then here on the second one, we just see Mike get loose again. That's two incidents this evening. You know, I'm hoping that he's going to be able to do a quick repair on that, or I'm sorry, not a quick repair, but just do some optional repairs on that and get that 82 back out there.
Yeah, it's a tough break for him. He definitely hit that right side a little hard on the inside of get right there pit lane. So hopefully he can get those guys can repair that car a little bit and get the tow set back in it and get him back. You know, as we go back up front, there's a little confusion. Definitely thought Nelson Riviera was going to be our lucky dog, but for some crazy reason, Jonas Hankins was actually our lucky dog, and he was 5 laps down at the time. So really understand that, but we'll have to speak with NAVSCAR's official here soon.
Absolutely.
That was definitely a question I had.
Well, it looks like they did get it sorted out, though, didn't they? I mean, I'm seeing Nate LaFleur and James Skelton and Trent Potter 1, 2, 3 right now. And you know, another thing I'm hearing, Dustin, is I'm hearing engines being cut off here. You think these guys are saving fuel?
For a fact, Jamie, I definitely think these guys are saving fuel. This is one place that fuel mileage has bit some of the guys that didn't take advantage of it. And just about like anywhere else, man, these guys race, you know, really clean. And so, you know, sometimes there's not a lot of cautions, and guys got to plan well. And some of the laps we run, and you definitely got to stretch and save where you can, and so you can be there at the end. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go along. And you know, we see some of the guys that were up front earlier not up there. I'm taking a look back through the field, and Josh Buckley's down here all the way at the back. Maybe he was topping off with fuel. John Fershing as well. So those guys are already thinking fuel. Just so they can stay out of trouble and get back to the front is going to be something we're going to keep an eye on here.
Yes, absolutely. As we're getting ready to see the pace car come off here in a second, but you know, somebody that's making his way to the front, I see that 8 car who is sitting there in, I believe it's 8th position.
Yeah, he's sitting in the 8th spot, right?
You know, Rogers is always running that Good Run Chevrolet, you know, tribute to the Dale Earnhardt there. So it's a great looking car. You know, Cowboy kind of reminds me of some of those traits. I mean, he can be pretty tough out there. When you got that car in black behind you, you know it, and he'll race you. And he's not just going to roll over and give you that position. He's going to make you work for it.
Definitely right. Lights are off on the pace car, and we're going to see him duck off here in just a minute. You know, we see Nate LaFleur. He's up front again. He chose the outside as the leader. We're probably going to see that all night. And you know, if we look back here in the 4th spot, you know, we got Scott Kidd. Scott Kidd had some trouble last week as well. It's good to see him up front as we cycled through these pit stops here early. We'll have to keep an eye on him as this restart goes.
Good run here, 3 wide going into 1. That's always dangerous.
Maybe 4 wide.
Yeah. Power move there by Chris Sharp.
Yeah, good job by him getting there. You know, it's very hard to pass here. Really got to take it easy there on the bottom, though. I tell you what, you want to fight hard for spots there, but that bottom will get you really loose under another car, so you got to keep an eye on it.
Oh, and we see the...
Ooh, as we see caution again. It looked like Scott Kidd and
I reckon big time back there.
Chris Sharp got together there getting into the tunnel turn.
Yeah, they got into each other pretty good. Let's go ahead and check that replay here real quick.
Yeah, that's a tough break. We got a lot of drivers caught up in that one.
Kevin O'Brien's going to get a piece of this action. Oh, as he gets into Cowboy, actually, so there's 2 incidents that go on. O'Brien gets into Cowboy, and looked like, I'm trying to think who the other one was there, Jonas?
Yeah, there was a wreck right in front of those guys. Bruce Potter got caught up with the Chris Sharp machine. Kevin Cochran, Kevin O'Brien, Ricky Goodman. A lot of drivers have some tore up race cars now. We're going to have to see those pit crews working overtime to try to get them back out.
Jonas Hankins, talk about just missing all of it. Let's go ahead and ride on board with Jonas one more time. This is going to be hairy. He's got him wrecking in front of him. He's got Josh Buckley trying to stay off of him. Goes underneath all of the wrecks into the grass and around. No damage. Nice driving there by Jonas.
Yeah, did we get an eye on Buckley there? He was right in front of him. Did he get...
Let's see here.
Oh, it actually looks like Buckley got caught right up in the middle of that as well. And he didn't take his quick repair, so he's got a tore up front end. We'll have to see how that car handles.
Yeah, right there you can see Josh just getting some serious damage to that front end of that car. Brent Rogers, number 8 Goodwrench there, is looking pretty rough as well. So.
Yeah, a tough break for a lot of guys there. Some tore up race cars. We'll have to see how many guys can bounce back from that unfortunate deal.
Well, let's talk about it though, Dustin. You know, it is race 2. First race, we kind of chalked some things up to, you know, knocking the rust off, getting back in the car. But the truth of the matter is that we've got new drivers driving with, I'll just call them regulars, and there's an adjustment period, and a lot of guys are just still trying to figure out the track. Some of the guys are trying to figure out how they're driving with these other drivers. I mean, there's a lot of things in play in here, and then, you know, I'll even go one step further and say, like I mentioned before, we have the dynamic track. You know, if you're running in a lane that you haven't been running in all night, now you've got another thing to contend with.
Yeah, you're right, Jamie. The thing I see there kind of started that thing was basically the fact that the 977 got in, just like we said earlier, underneath the 924 Chris Sharp, and just pushed up going into 2. It's all about entry into that corner, and he definitely got in there just a little too hot on the bottom, and you know, that was one incident. And the other incident in the back, somebody fighting hard to be on the top, and O'Brien just got in the back of the 8, and it was just dominoes after that. So just unfortunate. But you know, if these guys can get the cars back out there, you know, I'm hoping to see they might settle down a little bit and have a good race here to the end. See, that time Raymond Edge actually stayed out. Going to lead a lap here. It's good to see Raymond sitting up front here. He got caught up in that first incident. He's definitely trying to keep his nose clean the rest of the race. And you know, you see some of these other guys getting damaged and falling back. You know, you can take advantage of that.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. I'm not sure I want to be back in that traffic after what we're dealing with and what we've seen up to this point. So.
Yeah, I think it looks like we got Nelson back on the lead lap this time. But you know, definitely thought he was going to be back on that that last caution that we had just a few minutes ago. But now he's back on the lead lap, and I'm probably going to see him try to march his way up to the field. He's got a fast car tonight, so just keep an eye on him.
So what are you hearing on the race chat? Are you hearing anything? You know, I mean, a lot of times when we have cautions like this, we do have a little drama on the radios. Are they pretty quiet, or is everybody staying under control?
You know, I hadn't heard a lot of conversations over the radio tonight. Some of the team radios might be going off a little bit with guys getting into each other, but I hadn't heard a lot yet. Heard a couple of guys complain about definitely some of the tire fall off and just guys getting a little too racy early. I mean, you know, we're sitting here, you know, turning lap 28, and you know, still got quite a bit of ways to go. So you know, we probably just want guys to settle in here. Some of the veterans do, and you know, we talk about veterans wanting to settle down, but you know, we've got 3 guys in the top 5 that are you know, new to this league this year. So you know, sometimes you can't blame it on the new guys as well. Some of these veterans get a little overzealous, I guess you'd say, and just try to jump out there and get a little aggressive and things, you know, get them caught up. But hopefully, guys will settle down here and we'll get going, have another green flag run, and see how this race goes.
So we got the lights off on the pace car, and we're going to get ready to go green here. But while we're doing that, they're on the back stretch. Let's go ahead and take a look at our supporters page. You know, we've got a lot of sponsors coming on this year. We're glad to see Voice Attack coming on, Type Frag coming on. You know, we got some, you mentioned, got some donations here that came in here recently, and I know you've contributed, I've contributed to it, and we really like to thank and the support that we're getting from different sponsors and just drivers within the league to keep promoting it and doing what we're doing. So
yeah, Jamie, you're right, man. We got a lot of good guys. It's good companies as well as guys donating to this league, man. You know, we couldn't do it without the donations, and just glad that we got good guys that enjoy what we do here, and that they're actually you know, getting Mike Fair doing a lot of the legwork to get some of these guys on board as we look to pace car jumps off and we're going back green here. Just really excited about some of the guys we do have sponsoring this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And Raymond Edge with a great start. 180 into the corner on that outside line. Let's see if he can make it work, but he's got his hands full with Mike King. Mike King makes that inside line work, drifting out to the outside. And it's close up there as Nate LaFleur is right on Raymond Edge's bumper, but he's got company too.
Yeah, we're definitely keeping an eye on these guys, because I tell you what, you know, they want to be here around at the end. They'll race hard here for a little bit. And we got another caution.
Another caution as we were just taking a look at Trent Potter. They're working that inside. Good driving there. All right, well, let's go back and see who it was.
Looks like Kevin O'Brien was involved, as well as a 905 of Craig Sykes. know exactly what caused that time, but
Ooh.
we saw just a quick word. Buckley looked like he came down to get that car repaired right as we went green. So looks like he's used his quick repair up, and he's going to go out there and just go from there. See what he's.
Yeah, and we see Kevin O'Brien just get into the back end there of Craig Sykes and turns him. And Kevin involved with that as well. And I think it was just I think that was just him checking up a little bit, and those guys running looked like the same line, but different times when they were getting off the throttle and getting back on it. So
yeah, I'm not sure. You know, just a little bit to Kevin, we might have to put him in timeout tonight. The second caution he's caused here in the last few minutes. You know, just joking with our buddy over there he joined us all the way from Australia, so guys traveled a long way to get here tonight to Pocono. So you know, unfortunate to see a couple early incidents.
Ooh, and you know, we watching Craig bring it into the pits here, and he's got you can hear that engine doesn't sound good.
Yeah, he's got a lot of damage there. You know, not sure if those guys have used that quick repair yet or not, but if they have, crew's got a little bit of work to do to get that car back out on the track and be raceable. So we've seen him up towards the top all night, so hopefully we can shake this one off and get back up there. We've still got you know, just about 49 laps to go, it looks like, and you know, or less. I'm not quite sure. We'll have to go see our official, but definitely still a lot of racing left here. So
yeah, absolutely.
We'll have to see.
Well, you know, you were giving Kevin a little bit of a hard time there, but you know, I'm taking a look at the Twitch chat going on, and it looks like you're not alone in that thought around the 94 bringing out that second caution.
Yeah, you know, I give Kevin a hard time. I enjoy having Kevin around. You know, just he's a hard racer, man. He gets back there and the guys, you know, put a little bit of pressure on somebody. We've seen him get in the back of the 8 and, well, get to the back of the 905 that time. But, you know, Kevin's not a dirty driver by any means. We want to clear the air on that. Just unfortunate. He's,
yeah,
you know, reaction time here can be a little different with guys, you know, taking different entry speeds and different things you got to take into account. So, just unfortunate it got caught up in that. Hopefully we can get these cars back out on the track and not have too much trouble.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at Kevin's car here. You know, he was in there, and, you know, it's a big track. You can work on the car a little bit. I'm assuming because this is the second one he's been involved in, he probably used that quick repair, or he actually had them work on the car. To be honest with you, I don't know. I'm taking a look at his last pit stop there. It doesn't look like he probably used that first quick repair, and I'm now taking a look at his pit time. He definitely had him work on it. So car actually looks pretty decent. You know, I'm not seeing a whole lot of damage on it now with after the crew's had some time to work on it.
Yeah, that's a good break for him. You know, you wonder what the front end geometry looks like after taking a big hit in the front end like that. So we'll see how to see that car handle as well as it did before, and sometimes they look like they race well and they got trouble. So we'll have to keep an eye on Kevin, and hopefully he can bounce back from this and see him back up racing for positions as we go.
Well, the caution lights are still out on the pace car, so while that's going on, let's go ahead and just take a quick look at our websites here real quick for those that are watching. Hey, if you're interested in what you see here, you want to join the action, or maybe the caution, maybe that is not a good way to promote the league, but yeah, we've just seen some cautions this evening. But all joking aside, we got the two websites up, NAVSCAR.com if you're interested. We got the league application there in the menu items. Go ahead and select that league application, fill it out. One of the admins will get back to you. We'll get you a number assigned. Want to make sure you read the rules that go along with it. We have a sister league that runs on Monday nights, very similar format. They run a little bit warmer temperature over there, as you can see with the big red arrow. Go ahead and click on that apply. It's the same process. Fill out the application, and one of the admins will get back to you and get you all squared away. So definitely join us. You know, we got 20 plus drivers out. You know, we got 22 in the field this evening. So we'd like to have you and want you to be part of the action. So.
Yeah, Jamie, it's definitely a good break from the action there. As lights still look like they're on the pace car. Oh, and they just went off. So we got one to go here. See, Mike King, he chose the outside once again. He was on the bottom that last restart and seemed to have a pretty decent restart. So Mike's definitely taking care of his stuff tonight. It's good to see. And you know, as we go back green, we got James Skeleton. Ain't talked a whole bunch about him tonight, but we know he's fast about everywhere we go, and it's good to see him up there. And he's going to battle all night, and I think he's going to be there around at the end. And good to keep an eye on him as we go along.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to point out that Nelson has actually moved up to 9th position.
Yeah, he's definitely you know, got that lap back, got squared away. He's been in some trouble early, but like I said, man can get around here. So you know, we said we'll keep a track on him as he continue to, you know, make his way to the front. Just good job by the pit crew getting him back out. And had a little trouble there earlier with you know, miscommunication on the lucky dog. He's back there now, so we don't have to worry about it. And he's ready to race. I'm sure he's going to be a little cautious getting around these guys, but he's going to make his way to.
Now, I don't know about you, but these guys have got to give each other a little bit of room here. You know, we got 48 laps to go, plenty of racing. Like to see some green flag laps from these guys. And, you know, once they do get spread out, it changes the race dynamic completely. But, you know, when they're bunched up like this, it's just cautions are breeding cautions here.
Green flag, green flag.
Yep, green flag out. Mike King gets a really good start on the top. I don't know if Nate was sleeping a little bit, but we'll have to see how this action goes into one.
Yeah, I was really surprised by that. Nate just really got taken off guard there. You know, and similar to real NASCAR, we did talk to the drivers prior to the race about restarts, making sure we go on green. We don't necessarily have a box that they need to start in, but we do expect them to start in a timely manner and in an orderly fashion. So maybe he was just playing it safe and wanted to make sure he stuck to the inside of Mike King there, but it doesn't look like it's paying off for him as Mike King is stretching it out a little bit.
Yeah, as we spoke on earlier, Mike's got a fast car here tonight, and we're just going to see him. These guys that have been racing up front all night are nobody new to the front. You can see Trent Potter, you know, he had a nice 4th place finish last week in Charlotte in his debut, and you know, not disappointing this week either. He's up there. He's been fast in practice all week. And he's definitely showing how he can just settle in here and ride and be there.
Yeah, I was taking a look at Raymond Edge. He's got his hands full. He's in plenty of traffic right now.
Yeah, he's got 2 fast cars right there on his rear bumper, and Jonas and Nelson. So we'll keep an eye on that battle as he's got to maybe try to string themselves out a little bit and you know, just count some laps.
Yeah, that almost turned real bad there as we're taking a look at Jeff File. Jeff is looking like he's just doing all he can to hold on to that car. He's got cars on the outside, inside, and we got a caution.
Oh,
I believe that was our leader.
That's going to be our leader. And unfortunately, as guy slowing down, it looked like Butch got into the inside wall as well. He collected somebody. Tough break for Mike, but he's kept his nose clean for the first part of this race. So we'll see that crew come in there and get that car fixed. And tough break for Butch though. Slowing down, he got loose there on the front stretch and hit the inside wall, and that car smoking. So You might have to take that thing back behind the wall and take a look at how that works out.
Yeah, I'm just searching right now to see what brought this caution out, and
Yeah, you know, Jamie, we talk about how tricky turn 3 is, and it's just one of those things where it just broke loose on him, and kind of longed for the ride, and he just turned it back into the wall. And luckily, Nate didn't get collected there, so just a tough break.
yeah, you're right. And we had an opportunity to see it there. Yeah, hits that outside wall, gets caught up in traffic. Oh, Busch just tries to avoid it and just loses control of that car.
Yeah, that's another tough break for Butch, but we'll have to see if he can get that car in there and get it fixed. I guess it was kind of tough because it was either go high or low, and you know Mike's sitting right in the middle of the track and turned it just a little too late and got the car loose. So. But it looks like them boys got the car repaired. That was Eustace quick repair, and he may not be as bad as we thought.
Yeah, so while we're under caution, let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule, huh? Should we?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right, so next race coming up, Atlanta Motor Speedway. These guys love it. We run a colder temperature there. You can pretty much, I don't know, your last time there, Dustin, weren't you pretty much full throttle the whole way around?
I tell you what, that's a good point. You know, Atlanta's probably one of the most fun tracks, guys. For the guys here, you know, you look at it, it's old, abrasive. It's hard on the tires, but I tell you what, man, you are almost, if not wide open, pretty much all the way around there, and it's a good feeling, man. It's like you're living on the edge, and these guys really enjoy it. And the battles you see are really good because it's side by side racing on such a tight track. You know, you know, your racing groove, you know, is probably from top to bottom on the track, and you know, guys run the middle, but it's a tight track. It's a lot tighter than here at Pocono, you know, and so we're looking forward to seeing Atlanta next week. And, you know, then coming up, we talked about it last week, the short track in Martinsville. I mean, that's, you know, we've run some races here in NAVSCAR, and short tracks have not been one of the strongest suits of some of these guys here. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on that and see who has done their homework and get those cars to the finish.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, that's the one I'm looking forward to. You know, short track, short tempers. You know, I think these guys are, you know, we talked about a little bit earlier, that, you know, they're getting used to riding and driving next to each other. But on a short track like that, you know, there's some drivers, and you kind of talked about it as well, is that they're pretty aggressive out there, but they're mindful and they're respectful of the drivers around them. But on a short track, you just you run into those things, not because you wanted to find trouble or cause trouble. Just you know, trouble finds you. So always an exciting race at Martinsville.
Yeah, you know, it'd be nice if we had a night race at Martinsville. You know, it's like Saturday night racing. That's, you know, you gotta love the short tracks. It's like getting back to the roots there, man. And I tell you what, it's a fun place to race, and definitely gonna be a non-stop, in-your-face, cars, bumper to bumper, every lap, and you're going to have to be on your game. Pit road's trouble getting in. We'll probably see guys have trouble getting into pit road. You wouldn't think of it, but probably have some trouble getting into pit road, so that's going to play a factor in it too. So just looking forward to Martinsville, man. It's going to be awesome race to call, and hopefully by then we'll have old Mike Fair back in the booth, and we'll have to see. And definitely going to be exciting to have him back and call these races.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're seeing these guys get the wave around, but I think I'm going to go back again and just do a quick recap of where we've been. So hold on 1 second. We're going to go back and take a look at some of these previous cautions. So this one is with Mike Abbott hitting that wall. This was more, or it was earlier in the race. He had some damage there. Let's go back to the very, very beginning. This is actually the first one. That one actually was at a different point in time, but we're on board watching Mike Abbott gets loose there with Nelson behind him, collects Nelson into the wall, and nothing but cars collected at that point.
Yeah, it's been a tough break for Mike, but I tell you what, he just got the wave around. He's 5 laps down now. Cars tore up pretty good. Kind of unfortunate night for him. I was really looking. You know, Mike's won here in the Pro Series before at Pocono, so definitely was looking forward to seeing him come back. He had an injury earlier in the year and trouble with his foot, and hopefully got that straightened out, and he's back racing now. And it may take a little bit of time to get this 82 back underneath him, but you know, the crew's working hard, and it's just unfortunate he had a little bit of trouble tonight. But we'll see him back next week. I'm for sure.
Yeah, we're just going through. We've seen Mike with a couple incidents there. We've seen Kevin O'Brien with a couple incidents here, getting into a couple different cars. It's been a busy night tonight.
Definitely has. As we go back green, battle up front's getting kind of good. You know, we see Nelson; he's already back up in the top 5, going to pressure these guys. So definitely good to see him back up.
Yeah, Naylor Fleur, he's looking good out there. You know, that clean air, you can tell, is really helping these guys. Who's ever been able to get that hole shot on the restart has been able to get, you know, anywhere from 0.3 to almost a full second lead, depending on who it is.
Yeah, Nate's been fast all week. He was fastest in practice, and you know, he knows how to wheel this thing. I mean, he had a little bit of bad luck last week on that restart. Still ended up finishing in the top 3, I think it was. But just good job by him. And you know, he's got his dad chasing him right now, Mr. Consistency. So we'll keep an eye on that battle. And that, you know, we talked about just a minute ago. We got Nelson back up into 5th, and the rest of these guys been up here the whole time. So nothing new for those guys. And we'll have to keep an eye on Mike King. Coming back from that last incident. He's just currently sitting in the 13th spot, but definitely going to probably try to start picking some of these guys.
Yeah, Mike King actually just took a position there. He's moved up to 12th, and he's working on Raymond Edge right in front of him.
Yeah, Mike, he's probably a little bit mad at himself. You know, he's run up here, run fast all night. He's definitely putting the pressure on Raymond as we speak.
Yeah, he is.
You know, really going to get down into one. He's probably, like you said, he's putting the pressure on the guys, hoping that they make a mistake. He's definitely not one that's going to take somebody out. So he'll probably might take a peek down here getting into 2.
Yeah, he is all over the back end there, the 72 of Raymond Edge. I think he actually had to back up out of that throttle a little bit, check up with Raymond just taking a different line and strolling. And as he looks to the inside, turn 3, going to keep that car down on the line, lets it drift up, makes the pass, real nice.
Yeah, good job by him. As we were looking, Nelson and Trent were battling pretty hard there through turn 3, and Nelson went to the bottom and definitely came off a 3, right back behind Trent. And that like we said, that high line's definitely the place to be to make your passes.
Yeah, he is pulling a lot of speed. 197 down the backstretch going into 2.
Yeah, he got a lot of speed in it.
Yeah, and then, you know, he doesn't even really have somebody close enough in front of him to really draft on him. He's just running that kind of speed by himself. You know that car is fast.
Yeah, Jamie, you're right. And, you know, as we were looking, Buckley had that trouble earlier, and he's made his way back up to 6, so he's going to chase them leaders down. He's definitely on a mission tonight. He, you know, hadn't heard any radio transmission from that team tonight, but I tell you what, he's probably quiet and just setting himself. Knows he's got about 36 laps left to go here, and these guys are definitely not really saying it's go time yet, but they got to put themselves in position to be there at the end. That's
yeah, we got some chat there on Twitch. Looks like got some James Skelton fans out there.
Yeah, there's probably 1 or 2. Well, let me stop joking.
Whoa,
James is a pretty good driver, as we. Yeah, I'm sorry. Just we're talking about James. We see Nate LaFleur getting loose there. I don't know if he collected it. Yeah, he did. Did a good job of collecting that car. It was definitely sideways. It's going to drop here, but good job by.
Yeah, James is looking fast. You talked about it in his qualifying speed, you know, and while they were qualifying, he's been fast. He's been consistent. He is always a driver you've got to deal with. You know, I raced with him on Monday nights. He's a clean driver, and he knows his way around the track, and not just any type of track. He's, you know, I know you were talking about John Fershing Jr., who's just in front of him there in 15. In the 15 car being Mr. Consistency, but James Skelton, if he's Mr. Consistency, you know, James Skelton is, you know, right behind him there on that list.
Definitely, Jamie, and just, you know, another little plug for him. You know, he's probably got a lot of momentum coming on to this race. You know, Sunday night we have our touring series, and you know, I got the chance. That's usually where me and you get to run, Jamie, and got to push him to a win at Talladega. So that was fun. Kind of a small field, but we had fun. It was a good group of guys, and just excited to see him get his first touring win. You know, Jamie, I want to joke with him. You know, I told him I could have took him out, but I just decided I'd push him to the win. So. It was the fun thing, and he's coming. He's got a lot of momentum here, and he's definitely reeling in that 15. It looks like.
Yeah,
he is. Riding along here with him. Definitely a man that's like you said, consistent. You know, James is definitely the epitome of a clean driver. So it's good to see him running up front, and it's the place he likes. So we'll see how this plays out over the next few laps.
Yeah, I thought he actually kind of botched that one going into 1, but. Probably was just the way that the car sounded going in, as he's able to make a real good run here coming down 2, drafting a little bit, lets off. He's gonna, you know, let off early and come out of this thing fast. And last time we had seen John get a little bit loose coming out of 2. You've seen that back end wiggle a little bit, and they definitely are running a couple different lines here. James running that low line, while John Fershing Jr. running a little bit higher, and I think James is gonna make him pay here in the long run as he gets a good run coming down the front stretch.
Yeah, that was very good. I see you see him turn to the bottom there, and I think maybe that is starting to rubber in because there have been a lot of guys go to the bottom more so than I thought going into it. But that, you know, as the track rubbers in, these guys can probably make these moves that we probably didn't see earlier in the race. So keep an eye on that, and you know, as we go back to the battle for, you know, 3rd and 4th, heating up a little bit. Buckley's made his way up to 4th, and he's on the tail end here of Trent Potter. So, you know, Buckley's hungry, and he's on his way. So we'll keep an eye on Buckley as he had that trouble.
Yeah, I didn't realize that Trent Potter was he's running a Toyota I see here tonight. A good, strong showing for the Toyotas this evening.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we've seen, in my opinion, uncharacteristically of the Ford Fusions being up front this season, but that WOW Racing group has really done a good job with John and Buckley and LaFleur, and you know, Skelton's kind of in that group. I don't know if he's officially calls himself a WOW car, but I know he was receiving technical support from them, so he's done a good job this season as well, and just see those Fords running. I definitely would like to see a lot more Chevrolets up front, but maybe as the season goes on, we'll see those guys more up front.
Yeah, so it's, you know, some of that chatter on the Twitch channel, somebody's asking if this is you can do this on mobile, and the answer is definitely not. You can't do it on a mobile device. It's really meant to be on a desktop, PC or Mac, but it's also one of those things too where you know, guys can spend anywhere from $100 to $1,000 on these rigs. So, and we got a caution out.
Do, Jamie, sometimes we get ahead of ourselves and get to talking about something and realize the action on the track there.
May have been Scott Kidd. I'm gonna check the replay here.
Yeah, it looks like Scott Kidd is there because he's
yeah, just
Wrecker's on the way to get him, and
oh, hard hit by Scott. Just loses it coming out of that corner and hits the inside barrier. No safer barriers here. No need for them, I guess.
You know, Jamie, we talked about that a little earlier. A lot of cars getting tore up by coming off that turn two. Entry's a big thing here, and if you don't get the right entry in, you're coming off, you're definitely going to push right out towards the wall, and we saw that as an example right there. It's unfortunate for Scott, but hopefully he can get that car back in there and get it.
Yeah, that looked like a pretty rough ride there. What do you think?
Definitely was. Definitely tough. We see him push out towards the wall and then just... And then you're along for the ride, Jamie.
Yeah, you are. You know, and I don't know if he got into the marbles there at all, but you've ran into that yourself driving these cars. I mean, it's one of those things that sometimes just letting off the gas. I mean, you need to turn under power to make these things, these cars turn sometimes, and it sounded like he came off the gas and wasn't able to just get it to turn and just ate the wall.
Yeah, you're right, Jamie. That's exactly how it works. These cars, a lot of times guys feel like if they let off of it, they can get the car to turn. But a lot of times, you know, once you're back to the throttle, you know, it helps the car turn somewhat if you're not carrying too much speed to start with. And it could have been a thing where, you know, that car just kept, you know, it's kind of like you're on a railroad and it's just going straight towards the wall. There's no controlling it and you're on it. And tough break for him, but we're going to see a lot of guys come down pit road. Pit road's going to be pretty busy here under this caution.
Yeah, and you know, if I'm John Pershing Jr., I'm probably going to come in for 4. We've got 29 laps to go. We're getting close. I'm pretty sure that they can't make it on this pit stop here, but I'm going to want 4 fresh ones.
Yeah, you're right. We'll see what they take here. Pretty sure it's not going to be anybody that takes 2, but as I say that, Ricky Goodman looks like he takes 2. Nelson takes 2. The guys you wouldn't
Tricky
think
Ricky
would take 2, but having a little trouble on the 2 car. I don't know if he's guys are doing some extra work on that car or not, but he was slow getting out of the pits there.
Yeah, you're right. He's still sitting in there. You know, I wonder if this is one of those extended pit stops that we see the 2 make from time to time.
Yeah, he does that. You know, we were just talking about it. These guys are not going to be able to make it on one more stop. Not going to make it. This is not going to be their last stop, is what I meant. And you know, Josh realizes that, and maybe he's trying to get a little extra, you know, work done on the car. But I tell you another thing, I don't really mean to call him out, but sometimes he has bladder issues, and he's got to jump out of that car and find the closest hot dog stand and get him something to drink and take him a little leak there. So we'll have to keep an eye and see if that team be unbuckled or not. So
well, it's funny that you bring it up because that's always one of the questions, like the drivers get is like, what do you got to do when you got to go? Well, and most of them are, you just go in the car. Might be Josh taking advantage of the long yellow flag here and taking care of business.
Yeah, you're right. It takes a little while to get around here, but I wonder if he did that or not. So we'll have to keep an eye and talk to him. Maybe if he's in the top 3 a little later, maybe about his questionable, if he did get out of the car or not. But we'll have to keep an eye.
And looks like Tricky Ricky Goodman is going to go ahead and collect that bonus point for leading the lap.
Yeah, well, he usually tries to do that. He did it last week. Hopefully, he can survive at the end. And get a good restart here and not have trouble. I mean, he, could end up having a pretty decent finish here tonight.
Absolutely.
A lot of hungry guys back there behind him, though.
So let's go through the field real quick while we're getting ready to go back to green. Got Ricky Goodman, currently running in first place. He started out in 15th. He's been kind of running towards the back of the field, but having a good night. Right behind him, we got Trent Potter. Trent's running that 987 car this evening. Been up to second, and we've seen him. He's had some power moves this evening, and he's probably a driver to contend with here as we get down to the later laps. Third place, I'd like to point out, is Nelson Riviera. I mean, he's made a nice comeback. What do you think?
Yeah, you're right. We talk about a couple of those guys, Ricky, Trent, Nelson, and James. Not quite sure if James didn't take 4 or not, and that pit crew got him out pretty quick or not, but I think those top 4 took 2 tires only, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, let me talk about that real quick. Well, I just wanted to tell you, Dustin, you were right. His pit stop was 14 seconds, so I'm pretty sure he's maybe the first car on 4 tires, 4 new ones.
Yeah, you're probably right. His pit crew did a pretty good job because he was back there, came in second and beat Fershing out. So that was a good job by that team and really quick to get him out. And he was pitted a little further back. So just the question, he came out with those guys that did too to try to gain some track position. So we saw Ricky just come back down pit road to top off again. So with turning lap 54 now, I mean, these guys are going to have to come back in one more time. So, they know they got to stop. So, it's going to be interesting to see what the last pit stop, if it's under green or under caution. So.
Now, Bruce Potter, he's made his way up to 9th position. I think he was involved in some of that earlier stuff and found himself in the back, but he's currently running in 9th and on the lead lap. So good for him. Good to see him back on the lead lap. And I want to quickly point out that John Fershing Jr. and Mike King, both guys that have been in first place, now sitting 5th and 6th, going to try to make their way back up to the front through traffic. But let's go ahead and we'll pick up the 10th place car here, Raymond Edge. Raymond there with Josh Buckley in tow. And just behind them, we got Brent Rogers.
You're right. Raymond's done a pretty decent job as we get ready to go back green here. I really want to see a good finish out of him tonight. So hopefully he can get up here on the wheel and we go back green and really make something happen here in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Not the greatest start there by Nelson, but he's pulling up as these guys are getting awfully aggressive.
Yeah, Trent was leader there, and he chose the outside once again. He got a really good run off turn 1 here, and it looks like he's going to definitely stretch it out with Nate here in tow.
Yeah, I hope Nate got some fresh tires there after we see him get loose coming out of 3, but you know, if there's a corner that a driver's going to get loose here, it's definitely in 3. As that's just it's really flat, and we see somebody going to the grass. So hopefully we don't have a caution with that, but.
Yeah, as you said, most of those, I think there was only 3 or 4 guys, maybe 3 guys that took 2 tires on that stop, and we got another caution.
Yeah, I think that was James Skelton at least involved in it.
Yeah, and I also see Chris Sharp was slow on the bottom too as well, so.
Let's go back and check it out, riding with James here. He just gets loose by himself.
Jamie, as you said, you know, he's sitting there on the bottom, and that's just a tough spot. But good job of him collecting it, not losing too much time. And you know, we saw the 924 Chris Sharp there, right there, the inside wall on the front stretch, having a little trouble afterwards. I don't know if he was collected or it was all by him.
Yeah, I'm not even sure how that happens. I mean, especially I thought at that point we were under caution, but you know, for the 924 Chris Sharp, you know, that's probably going to work out to his advantage, because if that caution wouldn't have come out, it would have been, he would have had a lot of work in front of him to get back up front.
Yeah, that's a good point. Trent Potter, you know, we talked about him being up front all night. He definitely has been right there ready to pounce. And as we're turning lap 57 coming up here, he's your leader. And the more caution laps these guys click off, you know, the more fuel they're saving. So I still think we're 1 stop away. But we'll see if somebody can stretch this thing a little bit. I don't know how those Toyotas, if he's running that Toyota hybrid tonight or not, have a little advantage over these Fusions. But we'll continue to keep an eye on him. He's done a great job.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, just taking a peek in the car here with Nate LaFleur, you hear him cutting the engine.
Yeah, those Fusions putting down a lot of power. So, you know, Nate's trying to save him a little bit here, and just, you know, hoping that he saves enough to maybe get to the end. You know, again, I said it last week, I don't think this is our last caution. We really hadn't had a green flag pit stop tonight, so other than our first, so really hadn't had a chance for guys to really spread themselves out a whole bunch because we've been under caution. So, you know, at this last run, it may be the telltale sign of where we don't have another caution, but we'll just have to see how it plays.
So we're kind of riding along here with Nate LaFleur, and it's kind of like warming up the tires. A lot of controversy around that, you know, with the dynamic track and some of what we've seen iRacing put in there. You know, is do you think warming up those tires is going to play into how the car handles on the restart here?
Yeah, there has been a lot of controversy about it. You know, Jamie, I'm really not sure on that. These guys, it makes them feel good, if nothing else. Makes them feel like they're getting all the trash off of it, and they feel like, you know, that's my best chance to get a restart, you know, and get clean and get into turn 1. But you know, these cars do, the tires do heat cycle on them, so you know, you get a couple cautions back to back, your car might handle a little different on this restart that it would if you had just got 4 tires the caution before. So you know, that was kind of a short little green run, if you could even call it that. So we'll have to keep an eye on him and see. But it is going to be a difference of who is saving fuel and who's not. So and tires have been going away on these cars pretty quickly. So it's all about managing them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're just taking a look here still riding with LaFleur and taking a look at that sponsor on his hood there. I'm not familiar with that. Was it Calandra Racing Concepts? Is that their other racing league that they deal with the remote control cars, or what? Do you know what that's all about?
Yeah, I think actually there's quite a few of them that do that. Those guys are up north. You know, I'm down here in the south in North Carolina, but team do a lot of remote control racing, and you know, Nate's a winner here at NAVSCAR, but I tell you what, he's done a really good job with his the RC program that team has, and you know, Brian Wynn is a part of that, I believe, and a couple other you know, John Fershing. They do a really good job. I've done a little bit of research on them, and I tell you what, they do really good with those remote control cars. So you know, they're fast here and they're fast in that, you know. So doing a good job with that team this year, and just really looking forward to seeing how they go from here.
Yeah, and that's pretty consistent. You know, a driver in one style of racing is you know, that's in their blood, and they like to get in wherever they can, you know, no matter what type of racing it is. So good to see him out there. Looks like the lights
Yeah, you're exactly
off.
right. Yeah, the lights are off on the pace car, and we're going to go green here really shortly. You know, we hadn't talked much, or earlier we talked about the 905, but Craig Sykes being in some trouble, man. But he's finding himself here restarting fourth, so he's on that preferred outside line. So you know, we talked about clean air and how car does better, you know, on that top side. So we'll have to see if he can get a good restart here and jump out on these guys.
So we see Butch coming in, and I believe he came in to get gas. A little sneakiness here by Butch Frazier on the 555. What are you thinking?
You know, oh, Butch the Butcher Frazier. He's definitely one that's going to be a fuel mileage guy. You know, as we're turning lap 60 is when we go back green here. That's 20 laps. Never know with Butch. He might be able to stretch it to that 20 mark. I don't know that he will, but you know, we saw earlier it was about 17, 18 laps, just depending on how many cautions we get from here on out. But might be having a little something up his sleeve, but it ain't no secret, that's for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, looking at the metrics here on the dashboard, and we see him. He's got he was in for 4 tires and fuel. He filled that car up. So we'll see how it plays out for him.
Yep, this guy's getting ready to go green here as the pace car is going to duck off.
It should be interesting because I don't think anybody's going to give a whole lot with 21 to go here.
Yeah, you're right. Grant gets a good start here. Looks like guys are trying to spread themselves out a little bit. Bikes maybe holding that top line up just a little. Oh, as we get like Brent or Bruce Potter collected there. I don't know if the 986 got or the 86 got into him or not, but I'll take a look at that replay.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go back and go ahead and take a look at that.
Yeah, Jamie, we just talked about it, you know, cautions breed cautions, but, you know, we're sitting here, and by the time we go back to green, if we can get the track cleaned, you know, could be in that fuel window. So just keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on Butch Frazier and some of these guys that are thinking about fuel.
And I believe that was just behind Mike King there. I still can't see who that was that went around. Were you able to see who it was?
Yeah, it was Bruce Potter was the one that got turned, but I'm not. If we can kind of look, he collected. Looked like Brent Rogers back behind him. Unfortunate getting caught up in that, but to me it looked like either the car just broke loose on Bruce, or maybe he got a little bit of help by James. So we'll keep an eye and try to see if we can get that replay up.
Oh, looks like he got a little help there from James Skeleton on the. Just got into the corner, collects Cowboy there. Cowboy's got some damage as well.
Yeah, it's just a tough break. Yeah, we did see. Just got a little bit of help there. They're racing hard there. It's just a racing deal, and we know James is definitely not one of those guys that 20 laps to go. He's trying to take care of his stuff. So tough break for Bruce. He was up there. I think restarted sixth or eighth. I think maybe it was eighth. We're gonna see everybody come down pit road here. Definitely don't see Butch come down. Maybe he's thinking of maybe leading the lap and then coming down and topping off. But it's getting around that time where by the time we get back to green, it's could be in that fuel window for some of these guys. So definitely going to be interesting last half of the.
Yeah, we're seeing them all come in. Oh, looks like John Frisching Jr. I'm not sure what was going on there. He actually backed up in his pits there. I don't know if he just came in for fuel or what.
As he beat Skeleton now, did he no tires or? Which would have been fine because we just stopped. So just keep an eye on those guys.
I'm pretty sure he just came in for fuel. He was only in there for 5.6 seconds. So I don't know if that's enough to change the right sides only. It may be. It's just going to be close.
Yeah, we'll see Mike King here. He looks like he stayed out. Going to be your leader as we come back around. Don't know if you know, he's probably got a plan. Maybe he knows a little bit more than some of those other guys, but definitely have to keep an eye on him.
Absolutely.
If he's able to stretch it over these last couple laps, Jamie, I'm telling you what, the car's fast. So that's some unfortunate situation earlier, but he's back up front, and we'll see if he can stretch it to the end.
Now, it's going to be interesting, too, because we've got some of these cars that haven't necessarily been up front this evening. You know, we've got in third place, we got Ricky Goodman, we got Jeff Fowle in fourth, and Kevin O'Brien, who's already been involved in 2 incidents already tonight up front. But it does look like they may be coming in. It looks like everybody's thinking fuel right now.
Yeah, you're right, Jamie. I definitely thought for sure that those that Ricky and them, and of course the O'Brien and Edge and Butch, Abbott and all those guys coming in for fuel. Sorry about that. Raymond did stay out, but you know, you see those guys coming in. That's kind of their regular thing, and they're just they're trying to pack them things full, and hopefully this thing goes green, and you see some of those guys stretch this thing.
Yeah, Kevin Cochran's one of those drivers that came in as well.
Yeah, we're going to see the top three, you know, definitely stayed out that time with Jeff Fowle. And you got those guys that are back in the back that are going to be pretty racy because they're probably getting into their fuel window. So we'll definitely have to see how these guys, how this restart goes. You know, it could be disaster, or it could work out for everyone. So we'll just keep an eye on.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, right behind Kevin is Craig Sykes. We've talked about him quite a bit. He's had some good runs, but he's also found himself in plenty of trouble, and now finds himself back in 18th position, still on the lead lap, but just hopefully he's gonna try to get at least a top 10. I mean, what are you thinking, honestly, though, Dustin? When you're in 18th place, I mean, is the win out of question, or are you always thinking win? Or are you thinking top 10, top 5?
You know, Jamie, as a race car driver, hopefully you're thinking win, that you can win at any time, especially when you know, it gets down to crunch time and you're still on the lead lap, and definitely want to think that. So, you know, I'm sure Brian, you know, he's got it in his mind that he's gonna make his way to the front here. As we see a lot of guys come down pit road to get some more fuel. So it's going to really shake some things up here. But, you know, Brian's probably thinking, yeah, 18th. It is what it is, but I'm going to make the best out of this. He's probably going to try his best to get up there, especially since we're getting closer down to go time. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually seeing a lot of guys take tires as well, and looks like we had a little trouble there on the 900 of Brian Wynn. Looked like he overshot his pit there.
Yeah, and I tell you what, though, if that's the case, the good thing it's under caution. You know, you hate to see these guys overshoot their pits on a green flag pit stop.
Right.
At least with the caution, you know, you get a couple guys by you. So what? You take 4, you come back out, you're ready to go, and you never know what's going to happen. You know, so like I said, he'll probably restart here in 18th, be the last car on the lead lap, if he is, and you know, it'd be fun to maybe watch him come up through the field, or maybe stretch that fuel just a little bit to make it to the end.
You know, it's interesting too, because you know we've talked about the paint schemes, we've talked about the manufacturers, but the one thing we haven't looked at, and maybe we may need to start dividing these guys up by their manufacturer, because we are running a pretty diverse field here of Toyotas, Fords, and Chevrolets. So good showing tonight by the Fords and the Toyotas, to be quite honest with you. And I only bring that up because, you know, a lot of these guys just by default run Chevrolet. It seems to be the most prominent car, but we're starting to see some of these guys go with the Fusion and go with the Camry.
You're right. His pace car's off, and we're getting ready to go back green. We'll see. It doesn't look like Sharp got a great start. Let's keep an eye on that top line. Definitely going to get going here, and the Skeleton move to the top. You know, these guys get racing back here behind King. You know, he could set sail, so it just, you know, he's one of the guys that didn't stop for fuel there, so maybe he's got it, that crew work that thing out, and he can save a little bit over this next run.
Yeah, absolutely, and again, we've talked about it. I mean, his interval back to John Frisching Jr. is about 0.3 at this point. I mean, John's still in tow, and he's kind of closing that gap, but we've seen Mike King get that nice jump out on the restart, so.
Yeah, seen Mike get a little bit loose off of turn 3 there, but not too much. Frisching's differential closed up just a little bit, but yeah, Frisching's going to be on the hunt. You know, it's go time. You know, we're less than 15 laps to go, and these guys are definitely going to be on the hunt. And, you know, fuel mileage is a question, but I think these guys may got something planned out here, and they're going to be racing.
Absolutely, and we're on board with John Frisching Jr. as he's trying to utilize that draft, and doesn't look like he's taking a whole lot of a different line as we see Mike King just get on that apron a little bit, get the car a little bit squirrely, and John tries to capitalize.
Yeah, I tell you one thing, the apron is not something good to hit here as we see him hit it again, but you know, Mike's been fast all night, so he's got it figured out. He can just tap that just a little bit on the apron and get that car to turn without wrecking, so he's done a good job.
And we see John just going to bringing that car just a little bit on the outside, and we've seen, you know, traditionally you think you just pull in right behind that guy and draft it on him, but it seems if you can take that car out just half a car to the inside on the car in front of you, you're able to draft up on him, and you kind of seen John do that on the front stretch. Also, he's also trying to prepare to get into that corner, but by doing so, he actually pulled up on Mike King there.
Yeah, Jamie, you're exactly right. He's, you know, definitely. I've seen Mike. He's driving that thing pretty hard. He's getting it. You know, it's been more sideways than it's been straight. So he's doing a good job of car control tonight. And as we look back at the battle right behind them, you know, you got Trent Potter, Chris Sharp, and Josh Buckley. You know, Josh Buckley had that trouble earlier, and he's definitely closing in on Sharp and trying to size him up here. You know, laps are getting countdown. We're almost, you know, 12 to go here, and it's go time. These guys are really going to have to get on the wheel if they're going to catch these leads.
Yeah, as we zoom in here on Josh Buckley, working on Chris Sharp, he is just putting the pressure on with 13 to go.
I tell you what, and this front pack of 5 that's kind of broke away from everybody else, they're staying pretty even within themselves. Trent's starting to pull away from these other 2, but these guys are definitely, you know, pretty equal race cars. So we're gonna have to see if this battle comes down to either, you know, if we get a caution late or this thing stays green, on how this battle's really gonna shape out.
Yeah, Buckley to the inside of Sharp there, trying to make it stick. It's going to be interesting. You know, something's got to give going into 2. You cannot take that corner too wide.
Yep, and I think Sharp backs off there, so that's a good move for both of those guys, and yeah, he's going to have to size him back up and just get going again. But good job by Buckley, as he's definitely came back from another week of adversity, really hauling the mail here.
So back up front with Mike King, John Furshing in tow. He's opened up a little bit of a gap there. Still about 0.3, 0.4, but still maintaining it, maybe is a better way of putting it.
Yeah, and I tell you what, you know, these guys, it doesn't take long for these tires to start falling off. But you know, these guys are hungry, so you know, it makes you drive a little harder, maybe a little deeper in the corner. But you know, as we see so far, they've done a good job of that, making that little change as the tires fall off. So we've got about, you know, 10, 11 laps to go, and guys, if they can make it the whole way, is definitely going to be a good battle here at the end.
Well, I'm not sure about Ricky Goodman and his strategy. You know, we've seen him come in, and he's just not able to really get that car to go like I think he wanted to. As he's now dealing with Raymond Edge right behind him. Raymond running that inside line, going down into 1, but thinks different of it as he pulls in right behind Ricky.
Yeah, you know, maybe he's, at this point, you know, I think a lot of the other guys are on the same strategy, so Ricky's fuel strategy might be a little out the window. And, you know, you're going to probably see at this point in the race that fuel strategy is kind of going to go out the window. These guys are up front racing hard, so probably not going to catch them at the rate they're going.
Yeah, we got Butch Frazier and Brian Wynn battling out back there. Butch kind of lets them go.
As I say, sorry to interrupt you there, buddy, but we got Chris Sharp and Josh Buckley making maybe a scheduled on their end, but definitely not something we thought. Topping off the fuel, maybe it is going to be a little short here. We'll keep an eye on that. I mean, it's flashing.
Oh, yeah. That's really interesting. And, and he misses. He overshoots his pit. We see Josh Buckley back up, take right sides. I was not expecting to see that.
Yeah, that's a tough break for Buckley. But I tell you what, Chris Sharp, depending on what happens here, well, they both got out about the same time, so that's a definitely a good break for him. If these guys got to come down pit road again for tires or for fuel, as far as the leaders go, could be advantage to Buckley and them. We'll have to see how their pit stops go as well.
Yeah, and I don't think Chris Sharp was able to get out of the pits like he wanted to. As he lost a lot of ground there on Buckley. I mean, a lot.
Yeah, he definitely looks like he got loose through the tunnel turn there. But he collected it and definitely lost some time there. But a tough break for him. But you know, I think he's still going to come out with a good finish if these guys got to stop again. You know, we were kind of surprised with that. Looked like a little bit of short pitting there, or less than the other guys. But you know, if we get a caution here, John, that kind of strategy is out the window, and it's going to be a tough finish for Buckley if that's the case.
Yeah, we see these guys running different lines, and Mike King comes in now. The leader comes in. John Furshing Jr. takes over the lead. These guys are definitely on different pit strategies.
Definitely so, and like I mentioned before on that last restart, you know, Mike King was one of the couple of drivers that did not come down for tires or gas on that last pit stop and stayed out. So if these guys got to stay where they are, and they can make it to the end here on their fuel as far as these two front guys, it's going to be another big win for John Fershing, but we'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mike King, takes right side and fuel, and he's back out on the track. So back up front with our leader, John Fershing Jr. Closest guy now is Trent Potter in the 987, and he's almost 2 seconds back.
Yeah, you know, you see John starting to even stretch it out. I don't know. I look as he's going into one, and he's definitely letting out of that thing and cruising into one. So he's probably on conserve mode. But I tell you what, if these guys are going to make it to the end, it's going to be tough, especially when we see a lot of guys coming down. Some of them were actually on the same strategy. So gonna be kind of good to see here.
Yeah, and are you seeing this with Trent Potter as we're riding in the cockpit? He's actually putting the clutch in the corners.
Yeah, that's another thing these guys do, and that's a good job by him. A lot of guys don't think about doing that, getting in the corner, but good job by him. And like I said, these guys are going to have to save to make it. Probably really close. No, Trent and John were definitely in a better situation than some of those other guys, but I'm really surprised to see some of those guys come down.
Yeah, as we see him get off the throttle again and clutches in and just pops it right there, coming out of one, and he's back on the gas, but he's back to 2. He's flirting with 2.1 seconds with the interval between him and Fershing Jr. trying to make it work. Let's go on board with John and see if he's doing anything.
Yeah, I noticed that John was definitely letting off pretty good getting into one that last time we were going by. So, you know, these guys are definitely saving, that's for sure.
So we don't see anything out of 3, and we didn't see anything out of Potter in 3, but let's see what John does here going into 1. See if he, oh wow.
Yes, we're down to 4 to go, Jamie.
Yeah, and he is way off the gas.
Yeah, we've seen that time. He's definitely 10 to 15 mile an hour off his normal speed through 1. So these guys are definitely conserving, and it's going to be interesting to see if these guys made the right choice to stay out and not make that splash and go. So hopefully they did. It'll be a big deal if they did, and it'd be a good call. It's kind of what we were looking for. We didn't think we were going to get a fuel mileage race, but it's turned into it.
Yeah, it has, and it's getting busy back there right behind him.
And I tell you what, if this does work out for this front crew up here, I tell you what, it's going to be another tough break for Buckley. Because is what I'm looking at right now. If these other guys don't have to come down, he's going to be, he's stuck in 16th right now, 8 seconds back from the 15th place guy. So he's really hoping that some of these guys start falling off.
Yeah, absolutely. Trent Potter back to 5th, was running 2nd. Now Nelson Riviera, who's up to 2nd place, former winner here in our touring series.
Yes.
Yeah, here at Pocono. So he knows how to get it done, and I don't see him backing off here. He's trying to chase him down, and he's pulled in within 0.7 of our leader. So.
Yeah, these are definitely gonna. Nelson was one of those that stopped again right under that caution, so he may think that he's good to go. And I tell you what, he was the one that won in our preseason Thunder here on a fuel mileage strategy. Really put it on him pretty good. So he knows how to handle the fuel mileage here. So we'll have to see if these guys can hang on. And Nelson's come back from way back to battle John Fershing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you look at the lap times here. John ran a 53.216 that last lap, and Nelson actually ran a 52. So Nelson is 52.684. So he's closing the distance. He's definitely running a faster lap time here, and I don't see Nelson backing out of the gas at all. So, if John was trying to conserve fuel, yeah, Nelson is not going to let him.
That's right, and you get the white flag here. we're definitely these guys are definitely letting out of it. But I tell you, Nelson looks to be, you know, in the catbird seat if Fershing runs out. So these guys are pretty much on the same strategy, and they probably going to be shaking these things getting down to the corner. As not sure, looks like Nelson may have just run out of fuel. Really off the pace here, getting into the tunnel turn.
Car seems to be under.
Yep.
Yeah, he's out.
Nelson is out of fuel as it comes over the radio. Tough break. We'll see how far he can coast it around. As we see Fershing coming off of 3.
He's out of gas too.
He's out of fuel. And looks like Nate LaFleur is going to win this race, folks. If I'm not mistaken. Yes, he did. Nate LaFleur coasted further than old Pops.
And Raymond Edge comes in third.
Good show by Raymond. Brent Rogers 4th. Kevin Cochran 5th. Yeah, definitely some big movers there. Some tough breaks for a couple of guys.
Yeah, Team Wow. You got to hand it to him. 2 Fords coming in 1-2 with Raymond Edge with that Chevrolet in third place there.
Yeah, you're right. And, you know, you talked earlier. Your pick for tonight was who again?
Nelson, who ran out on the backstretch. So picks up 11th. So.
Yeah, it looks like he outscored me tonight. Buckley had to make that stop a little late. And I tell you what, big gamble by Nate LaFleur, John Fershing, all those guys. Awesome job by those guys tonight. And we'll have to get in here and have a word with them and see definitely what some of their thoughts were.
Yeah, absolutely.
Demi, you think you want to bring down Raymond Edge, our third place finisher, and see what he's got to say tonight?
Yeah, we'll do. 1 second.
Good job, buddy.
Was moved to your channel.
Raymond Edge got
Mr.
a top
Phillips.
3 here tonight. Did an awesome job, man. You know, had some trouble early, and he definitely bounced back. And you know, me and Jamie were speaking of, we didn't think this was going to be a fuel mileage race, but it sure turned into one. And you did an excellent job here, finishing in the 3rd spot here tonight. And just tell me how you raced.
It went good. I mean, you know, we had that early incident, and it's one of those things, you know, cold tires and the track slick from practice, and I think the 82 just got loose on the bottom and come up, and I just couldn't get to the left fast enough to get out of the way, and had to use a quick repair. But after that, it was just kind of playing tire strategy and definitely fuel. I mean, we took that last pit stop and it's like, everybody take 4, fill her up, and then save for the first few just to make it to the end. I had a lap left on fuel.
Yeah, that's
good job, buddy. Jamie, you got any questions for me?
Yeah, you know, I wanted to know if you wanted me to pick you for next week. First, that would be my first question, but then
no.
So I got my answer on that one. And second of all, you know, like you talked about it, you know, early incident there with the 82. You know, just unfortunate, some hard racing on that first lap, but you know, maybe some cold tires or whatever. But it had to concern you a little bit after that happened to have to race a different kind of race than maybe what you were expecting. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, and I have something to Mr. Fair that we actually started this race with 2 quick repairs that we weren't supposed to. We should have only had 1. And I ended it with 1 still remaining, so I technically only used 1. But, you know, using that first quick repair, yeah, it was more playing strategy, just trying to stay out of the mayhem, because this track's just known for it. 4 wide down the front stretch and 3 wide into turns. I got a little loose next to the 2 car there on that one restart and just had to back out of it. And I mean, the track wasn't too bad. I mean, it was slick at times, it was tight at times. It was really hard to figure out. And we were all talking to that on the radio. We just didn't know what the car was going to do sometimes.
Yeah, I hear you. It was it made for an interesting night. So, we got Atlanta coming up. You got a third place finish tonight. I mean, that's great momentum for you and your team going into Atlanta.
Well, there's not much of a team left since all of the incidents last week. They were all fired, and I haven't replaced them. So I was changing my own tires this week. Hopefully, I got them done quick enough.
That's impressive.
It was fun. I'm a little out of breath.
Dustin, you got anything else, or?
I just want to congratulate you, buddy. You've had some tough luck here lately, and it's definitely, we know you got the speed, and some of our newer viewers here, probably haven't seen it, but I know it's there, and it's good to see you finish up front. And I look forward to seeing you next week.
I'm looking forward to Atlanta. That's a fun track. I mean, the tires are definitely going to wear out quick, so it's probably going to turn back into a tire/fuel strategy. Let's hope not. Let's just hope it's hard racing the whole way, but we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. You got anybody you want to give a quick shout out to real quick?
Nah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining in this booth. Good momentum going into Atlanta. Hope to see you there, and I might pick you. So we'll see how that turns out.
Please don't. I love you, Jamie, but don't.
Fair enough.
Hey, I just want to actually, I do want to give a shout out. Thank you, Brian Wynn. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, big shout out to Brian Wynn. Really impressed with that showing. So, and what he's doing behind the scenes. So, really appreciate that.
Thanks, guys.
So we'll go ahead and bring in that second place finisher, John Fershing Jr.
All right.
User was moved to your channel.
John Fershing, Dustin Phillips here in the booth, man. How are you?
That was pretty awesome. That was probably the craziest fuel mileage battle I've been a part of. I just wish I would have had a couple drops more. Let the kid buy me.
Yeah, I noticed that. We were actually trying to find a couple battles through the field there at the end, and we thought you were on cruise control, knew you had to save there, and got to looking, and next thing I know, the old sun got by you just coasting as well, and hey, that whole WOW Racing team did a good job tonight with those Ford Fusions, and proud of you, man. Another good finish. Like to call you Mr. Consistency now. I don't know if you know that, but I've nicknamed you Mr. Consistency, and you've done another good job here tonight with fuel strategy, and just good to see you up here at the front again tonight, and through a long, hard race. Just a good job. Tell us a little bit about how your race car felt tonight, and just how you felt over.
It's good. The car felt great. Normally I'm a little more worried about stepping out in 3 and going around, but it was really pretty comfortable under me all night. I just wasted too much fuel at the start of that last run chasing Mike King there. He didn't come into the pits with us and top off, so he was gonna have to stop anyway. And I was just chasing him hard and using too much fuel. And by the time I realized that I had to back it down and save fuel, I think just used up just a little bit too much. But yeah, I was pushing the clutch in and rolling around. Once I had a big lead there, I was watching my relative screen, knew I had a lot of room to be able to save fuel, and just needed a little bit more. That would have been crazy to start out the season with 2 wins. I've never done anything like that before, but I'll definitely take a second here. It's still a good result, and looking good going forward.
Well, you definitely talked about it, John. This is Jamie up here in the booth as well, and we were actually riding in car with you there towards the end, and we were noticing that you were putting the clutch in. So yeah, it was definitely cool to see that. Definitely very interesting to watch you kind of play that strategy. You actually, in doing that, you had almost like a 2-second lead there. You backed it down to about a 1 second by doing that, and I thought it was going to get real interesting there for a while. But the one thing I want to ask you about though is you talked about Mike King, in the 944, and you honestly had some competition there by a lot of the rookie drivers this race. Good showing by them. I mean, is the synergy, so to speak, kind of playing out now that we've got a couple races under our belt with some of these newer drivers?
Oh yeah, they're definitely running really well. Mike and Nelson and Chris and Trent and all the guys, Craig, they've all got speed. They're all courteous. I mean, we raced around. I mean, I know there was a bunch of cautions tonight. I didn't really see what was the cause of them or anything, but anytime I was running near them guys, Chris got a huge jump on one of the restarts, got down inside of me, and man, I was in the middle, three wide, going into one, and he backed out of it. And everybody just playing really nice, being really courteous. It's a lot of fun.
Well, good deal. Thanks for joining us in the booth. You got anybody you want to give a shout out to?
I know my dad's watching. Got a text message from him, so say hi to Dad and everybody, all the RC guys watching if they're still on. I know they've been posting to Brian and myself and a few of us all day, so on Facebook. So thanks for watching, and we'll try to put on another good show next week.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys.
User was moved out of your channel.
All right. One last.
Jamie,
Oh, go ahead, Dustin.
no, I was just going to say we're going to get a quick word here with Nate LaFleur and just see how his crazy night went and how he ended up getting by his daddy. So we'll go have a word with him.
User was moved to your channel.
Nate, buddy, it's Dustin here in the booth, man. Definitely didn't expect a fuel mileage race there at the end with the cautions we had, but did an excellent job and saved just enough to coast by your daddy there at the end of the race, man. Tell us about how you're not.
I'll tell you what, my heart's still pounding out of my chest. That was intense. When I turned the motor off going into 3 and turned it back on and the thing was sputtering hard. I'm like, oh my God, please don't let this happen now. And I coasted across the line. I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, you definitely
Go ahead.
definitely did a good job tonight, and keeping yourself out of trouble and being able to just be there at the end, and that's what it took, man. And good job again. As we look to next week at Atlanta, I think Atlanta's one of the places you like. It's fast racing. Tell us a little bit about what the team's doing to get ready for next week.
Yeah, I like Atlanta. It's fun, fast racing, but I think in our lowered weather that we run, it gets a little out of hand, especially with these Gen 6 cars. There's so much grip. I mean, you're on the rev limiter about at the flag stand, and you're on it all the way into the corner. And yeah, I mean, I like going fast. Don't get me wrong, but it definitely teaches some bad habits and makes for some crazy mistakes sometimes and decisions that shouldn't ever really be made. But we'll see what happens. This week was a lot different than last week. I only showed my face up front a couple of times, and then there at the end I was hanging barely inside the top 10 until the last 2 laps. Unlike last week where I was up front a lot and then finished 3rd. So hopefully I can do something like that at Atlanta. All 4 of us can pull something off by trying to stay out of trouble and be there at the end.
Yeah, Nate, this is Jamie up in the booth too. I got the question I got for you real quick is, we did see you get loose there coming out of 3 that one time. What happened there?
Well, I learned the hard way. Don't ever take 2 in any situation at Pocono. I ran maybe 2 laps, 3 laps, and pitted and took 2, and my left sides were like 98, 99%. And I'm like, oh, I should be perfectly fine. And I did. I ran 2-3 laps before I had an issue, and then all of a sudden it just got wicked sideways, and I'm like, oh boy, here goes this race. Luckily I hung on to it and only lost 5 positions instead of like, a lap from wrecking or something.
Yeah, we had asked John earlier, right before you came in, as to, we got a lot of rookie drivers out there. The field looks a little bit different than it has in the past, but these guys are bringing speed. I mean, what are your thoughts on the new drivers that have come in?
There's a lot of fast guys, for sure. There's a lot of guys that I'm glad to see that are joining the league that are that aren't just field fillers per se. That are really fast guys. Chris Sharp, Trent Potter, Nelson Rivera. All these guys are just wicked fast, and it's making for a lot more interesting races. And you know, it's not just 2, 3, 4 guys up front running by themselves all night. It's like, you know, a pack. It's pretty cool. It makes for some awesome racing. And not only that, but a lot of our regulars are starting to pick up a lot of speed too. Kevin, Butch, you know, Ricky, they're all getting real fast. This is going to be a cool season for sure.
Well, good deal. You know, when we got Atlanta, you know, Dustin and I were talking about it just a little bit ago. We got Atlanta coming up. That's a fast track. And, you know, with this win, you know, what does that do to your confidence going into next week's race?
I wouldn't say it raises it. I'm probably going in with the same amount of confidence I went in with tonight, maybe even a little less, just because, I mean, I've been in truck races at that track that have been hectic. I can't imagine what another 200 horsepower is going to do. But, you know, it should be all right. But, I mean, that's a lot of people say all those mile-and-a-half cookie cutters are all the same, but Atlanta is a freaking animal of its own. It's got really wide radius turns, and you carry a lot of speed around that joint. So we're gonna see what happens, but we're gonna be throwing down some lap times no one's ever seen before with the weather we run. That's for sure.
Yeah, I would say my last question to you, you know, talking about that schedule a little bit more. Dustin really likes the short track, and he can speak to that here in a second. But you know, after Atlanta is Martinsville, and short track, short tempers. You know, it gets a little bit more interesting. You consider yourself a short track driver, you know, that mile and a half or super speedway guy. I mean, do you have a preference and a hierarchy there, and which one is, you know, more in your wheelhouse than the others?
Well, I have to say, yeah, like the big tracks, you know, Pocono, Atlanta, or not Atlanta, I meant Auto Club, Michigan, you know, the super speedways that aren't plate tracks are probably where I'm naturally the fastest at, but I rather race short tracks any day. Short tracks are my favorite. I don't care if I'm finishing 10th. I love short track racing. To me, it requires a lot more patience and a whole different mindset going into it. And I feel like a lot of guys, you know, after a couple of incidents, they start steaming over, and I feel like I'm able to keep a little bit more of a level head, at short tracks, just because I go in expecting to be there to have some carnage going on. So, you know, I love Martinsville, I love Bristol, I love those tracks. I don't always come out with the best finishes, but it's a good time. I love, you know, braking hard going into the turns and waiting for the car to take a set and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Dustin, you got anything for our race winner?
Just again, man, congratulations on your win here tonight, and definitely looking forward to seeing you next week in Atlanta and going into the short track at Martinsville on the 21st. So good job tonight, and we'll see you next week.
All right, sounds good. Looking forward to it. See you guys later.
Yep, have a good one.
User was moved out of your channel.
Well, Jamie, I guess we finish up another good race here at Pocono. We expected to have some good battling, but man, I think we were really treated to a good show tonight, and definitely a good job by all these drivers. And as we move on to Atlanta, we've talked a little bit about it to close out the show. I mean, what are you expecting? I mean, for me, I'm thinking, you know, it's as LaFleur mentioned, these cars are on the rev limiter about all the way around. So looking forward to some high-speed battles and some good close racing all night.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you really hit the nail on the head with that one. I mean, there's one thing to be said about the speed, but I think the thing that is going to be the thing that makes the difference is how are these guys acting and driving with other cars around them, because you know we see them in practice, we see the fast speeds, we know that they can run, you know, a consistent line by themselves. But where it gets interesting and where we've seen people have issues is we talked about it even a little bit tonight. You know, it's that entry point into the corner, and when people are letting off, and some choose to drive it in a little bit deeper. Some guys like to back off and get the speed coming out of the corner, and that's a recipe for disaster if you've got somebody that are on opposite driving styles, and I think it's going to bring out some great racing. But at the same time, it could be pretty interesting because I don't think we're going to see what we've seen tonight. I think we're going to see a lot of cars, single file or double, too wide, going around that track and in close proximity. And there's also the real possibility that we're going to see some cars get wrecked out because unlike at the super speedway or Pocono where there's maybe some room to maneuver around, there's not a lot of room when something happens around you to get out of the way, let alone get on the brakes and hope somebody doesn't rear end you. So I think it's going to make for some really exciting racing.
Yeah, Jamie. Definitely a good point there. Not a lot of time to react when something happens there, and we'll have to see what comes of it next week, and just again give a shout out to Mike Fair and the awesome job he's done to help us do a lot of things we're doing here, and we'll have him back in a couple weeks, and again he does the right pick and ends up having a pretty good pull away from the rest of us for the Battle of the Boost. So we'll see how it turns out next week if we can get a little bit of luck, Jamie, and pick the right guy, or you continue your streak of unfortunates for everybody. So if you got any last closing words, man, we'll hear them, and we'll go on the next.
Yeah, absolutely. So to close out the broadcast, I just want to bring some quick attention to, again, our websites real quick. If you're interested and you've seen one and liked what you've seen here tonight, make sure to check out NAVSCAR.com. Check out our sister league over at RedLightLeague.com. Both run a similar format. It's basically you've got to apply first, and an admin will get back to you and get you squared away. But we'd like to have you come out and race with us. You've heard from three guys tonight firsthand of the skill of the drivers, the friendship that's out there, and it's we're having a good time, and we like to have you out. And I think the last thing I want to just quick point out again is back to that supporters page. Gotta again thank Win for what he's doing behind the scenes. We got the contributors, we got sponsors coming on. We got an exciting season ready for you guys. So stay with us as we bring on Voice Attack as a sponsor and Typefrag as a sponsor. It's real good to see him supporting us, and SimRace Setup Analyzer too. Gotta really give a shout out to those entities. So with that, I think we'll sign off, and we'll